There is spiritual warfare that is going on between blacks and whites. There's a spiritual thing. There's a spiritual conflict that's going on between black people and white people, and this is something that most people are kind of afraid to talk about or afraid to confront. Because if I, as a black man, come and speak about it, they call us black men, but as a Hebrew man that comes and talks about this, um, people, even my own race, my own people, will tend to want to call me racist. And if a Edomite or any other nation may come and talk about this, they're gonna call them race as well, or sometimes they will even justify the other races. I realize that in most cases, it is the Hebrews who come along and talk about the truth that they get shunned. But there's a spiritual warfare that's going on between blacks and whites. There's a spiritual warfare that's going on between black people and white people. A spiritual conflict. You see, I don't care which church you want to say you go to. If you have hatred for black people, then you need to be born again. I don't care if you're a white man, you say you're a white Christian. If you have hatred for the blacks, you need to be born again because you're not operating like a new creation. Same thing for the black people too. I know that we have history, but all this history, God was in the midst of all of it too. The reason why black people went off into slavery is because they forsake the Lord. It's because they forsake God. And this is the reason why they went off into slavery. If you read Deuteronomy 28, he will tell you about that. About when we disobey God, what happened when we disobey the Almighty. We go off into ships. We will go through all the things that you say that we're going through even right now. Excuse me. Excuse me. All that we're going through right now as a nation, worldwide, is because of our disobedient ways unto our God, unto our Elohim, or whatever you want to call God, Yahuwah, Yah, or whatever you may choose to call our Abba, the Father. And let me not stray. So there's a spiritual conflict. I was gonna go somewhere else. There's a spiritual conflict going on between the blacks and the white. The way you see how these white people are operating against black people, these Edomites are operating against the Israelites, is a spiritual thing. It's the wrestle. It's a wrestle. Jacob and Esau wrestled from the womb, and they came out, and the Bible said these are what? Two nations. It never said two sons or just two persons, but two nations are in um, her womb. And so he represent us, the Israelites, and the other nations, the Edomites. And so that wrestle start from the womb, and that wrestle is going on even now. And it's a spiritual thing. And the only way that can change is when man is truly born again. That wrestle, the Bible says we wrestle not with flesh and blood. So don't think it's just a flesh and blood thing going on here. Don't think it's only and solely a flesh and blood thing going on between blacks and whites. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities, with powers. There's a spirit behind the hatred that's going on here. And the only way that this can truly change is when man is born again. When a man is truly born again, he can never walk around with that hatred in his heart for what we call the black man. He can never walk around with the hatred for Israel, because Israel is Esau's brother. Esau is our brother, also Israel. But once a man is born again, that love will come for his brother. We will love our brother will love us. But if there's no true rebirth, or if there's no true born again, then the hate will continue. When you accept Christ, you receive the Spirit of Christ, and you will learn to love your brother. But if you don't have that Spirit of Christ in you, then you have that very spirit that you were born with. As a Edomite, even as a Israelite, all is born in sin and shaping in iniquity, and our sinful ways cause us to act and behave in certain way. And Christ came to redeem us from sin, to take us out from darkness and pull us from out of the hands of Satan. I really hope that you guys are getting this. It's a spiritual thing that's going on between blacks and whites, Edomites and Israelites. You see this hatred that you see going on in America with what these white people are doing against our brothers. This hatred is a spiritual thing, and the only way they can change is to truly be born again. And so, any man you see out here, any white man, or even any black man for that fact, but the white men are demonstrating more hate for the blacks. They're demonstrating more hate for the black, especially in America. But any white man you see out there that said that they're a Christian, they're a pastor, they're a minister, they're going to church, and they still have hatred for the Israelites, their black brother. They have not been they have not been born again. They do not have the spirit of God in them. They have not been delivered from their evil inclinations. They have not been delivered. Same thing for Israel. If you're not born again, you will never learn how to love your brother. They have to be a rebirth. They have to be a born again. They have to receive the Spirit of Christ to conquer this spiritual conflict that's going on, this wrestle from the womb. The two nations wrestling. It's a spiritual thing. It's still following us. And we have to seek Christ first. Seek the Spirit of Christ first to know, learn how to love our brothers and our sisters. So white man, Edomites, you need true deliverance. I don't care which church you want to go to. If you still have hatred for black people, then you're not truly born again. Shalom.